Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here with yet another kit, I'm afraid. So this one is called Nostalgia. It's an enormous kit and it's been on my shop for a few weeks now, but I've only just got round to kind of doing a video for it. It has actually sold quite a few times already, so I just wanted to say a massive thank you to those people who have already bought it. I really hope that you're enjoying kind of using it and, you know, having lots of fun and that you like the images. But for those who kind of haven't seen it, I just thought I would come along and, you know, share it with you now. So if I kind of do it in order, so it comes with 11 pages, like background pages. And then it has also 16 pages of what I would call, you know, the main body of the kit. So I'll just pop that to one side. So it's a kind of bluey grey kind of themed kit. It has kind of shades of pink and, you know, things like that. It's got lots of kind of buildings in it. And it's teamed with kind of roses and florals and, you know, just kind of a lovely nostalgic kind of feel to it. So the background papers consist of, you know, these papers here. So we'll just go through them. So you get this one here. You get this one here, which has kind of got themes of kind of the woods as well, kind of intermingled with the kind of background pages. And it's got some roses and things on there. This one here, it's got the grey roses down the side. And again, the files will come to you in 2 PDF files. I mean, I know that I'm saying this every time, I'm probably repeating myself, but I do it like that so that you can print them separately, and then what you can do is choose the borderless setting on your printer, you know, for the background pages, because then you will get them without the white edges. So the background papers are in a file on its own, and then the other pages are you know, the body of the kit is kind of separate so that you can print that, obviously not borderless. So lots and lots of background pages here. So just kind of show you there like that. Had a horrible feeling I wasn't filming them for a moment. So then this one here. And then finally, you've got this lovely collage page, kind of incorporating the buildings and things that are included. So that's the background pages. The main body of the kit, as I say, it's enormous. It's 16 pages. So you've got pages with these kind of postcards on. These pictures, I mean, this is a beautiful chateau in France. I actually can't remember where some of these buildings are. They are adapted from my own personal pictures. I think this is in France as well, but the rest kind of escapes me, so I do apologise. You've got images from some actual vintage postcards as well, and just a whole bunch of kind of different images to kind of create some really pretty kind of pieces there for your journals. You've got obviously these kind of postcards here. And then you've got some journaling cards kind of up the traditional way rather than kind of postcard format. Then you've got some tickets, kind of joined tickets. I don't find them very easy to fussy cut, I have to say, but I know that kind of, you know, people like the tickets. And then I've got the postcards again here. And some postcards here. So you've got kind of similar postcards. They're not obviously the same. They are all different, but these also, you know, as well as being different kind of patterns and compositions, these are kind of more the grey themed backgrounds rather than the kind of beigey colour. So there's those. These ones here, you've got a big round tag and you've got now some pockets. So there's a pocket here, you've got a rose, and then you've got the pale kind of roses as well that are kind of very delicate colours. You know, incorporating the greys and the kind of more washed out kind of distressed, anyway, washed out kind of colours there. It's very delicate colours and very kind of pretty kind of, I don't know whether you call them pastels, but anyway, very, very pretty kind of colours and things that are in this kit, I think. So obviously you've got the pockets, you've got some banners, and then you've got here, this journal belongs to a kind of, you know, label there. Then you've got this corner pocket here with a couple of kind of images with a kind of jaggedy kind of edge. I thought that was kind of fun to include. And you've got some double-ended tickets, another single ticket, and another kind of journaling card there. And then here you've got some tags, another couple of double-ended tickets. Again, I've tried to kind of include a whole bunch of different sizes and, you know, styles of items. So, you know, there should be kind of something for everybody, and something for kind of, hopefully kind of everything that you would want or need. I said before, I really love it when I kind of buy a kit, you know, out in the shops that kind of has a whole bunch of stuff, and I really can kind of get stuck in and use tons and tons of things. So that's what I've tried to kind of do here again, is include really a lot of different things. So on this page, you've got the buildings, or, you know, 4 of the different buildings, just literally kind of blank on the page, which I will show you in a second, kind of ways that I thought that possibly they could be used. So we'll come to those in a second. And again, you've got some more of those beautiful kind of very pastel, kind of washed out kind of looking flowers. And then here you've got an envelope. Unfortunately, this did take up the whole page, but obviously I wanted to include a kind of slightly larger envelope. So that's that one. And then I've done this a few times in kits. The last 3 pages of the main body are what I would call kind of stationery items. So again, I've tried to include them, you know, at the very end of the body file. So that, again, you could kind of just select it to print, you know, page 14, 15, 16 separately to kind of pages 1 to 13. And then you could print these on kind of copy paper rather than kind of thicker card that you may choose to use for the other pieces. Obviously, that's just a mere suggestion, and it's completely up to you guys kind of how you would do it. So you've got 3 pages, and each one has 2 kind of sheets of what I would call stationery. So you've got a total of 6 kind of stationery pieces. I mean, I just love these and think they're really, really nice to use. I think they're kind of quite nice to use as little folded note cards, or, you know, a whole kind of bunch of ways to use them, really. So that's why I kind of include them. So let's have a little bit of a play with the kit. So I'm just going to kind of pop it out of the way. I just move my piece of fabric here so that I'm not making a mess on there. So what I've got here, I brought along, literally, this is a bunch of book pages that I have literally just stitched around to kind of make a, you know, a pocket or a tuck spot, or, you know, whatever, to pop on. And I just thought that would look kind of quite nice. Now, I haven't actually planned what we're going to do, so I'm just very much winging it here and kind of, you know, I guess flying by the seat of my pants, as per a kind of very famous line in a film. So I'm just going to, you know, I have just picked literally an image at random, just to, you know, for the purposes of this video. So here what we could do, cut around one of the postcards. And I mean, as you know, I really can't stress this enough. I really haven't planned this or anything. So, you know, I don't necessarily know how this is going to look, but I will give it a try. So we've got that item there. Of course, you could even tear it out. You don't have to cut it. I have just cut it for the purpose of this video, but I mean, actually, you could have torn around the edge. Would look really cute too. So I've just got a piece of paper here just to kind of lean on while I kind of distress things a bit. So I'm using just my vintage photo. And actually I've just look at the state of my pad. I should have really changed that before obviously coming on to do this video. But hindsight's always a wonderful thing, isn't it? And, you know, I believe it or not, you know, I have said this before, I do try and be organised in these videos, but I mean, there's only kind of so much stuff that you can kind of prepare in advance, isn't there? So I'm just going to ink up the you know, pile of book pages themselves. And I mean, literally all I've done is taken, you know, a bunch of book pages. They're very thin pages, so I've kind of clumped a few together, folded them over and literally stitched them round. So there's really nothing complicated here. You know, I've said, you know, before, I don't do complicated. So, you know, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Now, that to me looks really pretty, just literally kind of almost just like that. But obviously, I absolutely love nothing better than kind of, you know, decorating things. So I've got this very pretty pink soft net. Now, it probably doesn't even look pink on camera because it's so pale that kind of as soon as you separate it, it kind of loses all semblance or colour. It's only when you kind of clump it up that you can kind of see that it is pink. So I just thought that it might look kind of cute popped on there. So all I'm going to do is literally glue this with my wet glue onto the soft net. So let's hope that my glue is going to play the game. You know, and we're just being very rough and ready here. We're not kind of, you know, worrying too much. Kind of, we just literally, we just want to attach it onto the net here. So I'll just press that down for a couple of minutes. Hope you guys can kind of see this okay. I am stood up, which again, you know, oh gosh, I mean, I'm just saying the same old things in all these videos, but I do kind of start by standing up because obviously I've got full-size A4 pages and it's kind of easiest to show you standing up. And then what happens, I do the process parts and I'm still standing up, which is just so far from ideal, you know, it's not great. So that's kind of there. I mean, that net, I don't know whether the camera's kind of picking this up. It's so pale, you know, kind of, it hardly kind of shows up on there. But it just adds that little something, kind of a bit more texture and just, you know, kind of, I can't explain, but just sometimes you kind of pick it up just in the light and it just really makes it look very, very pretty. So I've got some vintage lace here. I've used this lace lots and lots because I was lucky enough to get an entire, what's the word, like a reel of it. So I've got lots of this lace. Now I haven't distress inked this or anything, but I'm going to just see how it looks distressed, whether we want to ink it up or leave it kind of, you know, brighter as per its kind of original colour. Looks quite pretty, doesn't it? So I'll just kind of see how that looks there as opposed to being bright. I mean, I think it looks really pretty either way, to be honest, so you know, it's probably not really worth worrying about too much. So we can pop that on there and then we could just pop maybe a couple of buttons on there. I mean, I really am trying to kind of use more buttons in my projects. And some things I just think they naturally kind of just look great on, and other times I kind of struggle to use them for some reason. I don't know why that would be. But let's have a look. And then I've got a little bit of the kind of pearl kind of trim there. So I'll just kind of pop that up slightly higher because I want to cover up the title that's on that page, if you can see that. So I'm just going to kind of glue this down. Hope everyone's having a good day. I don't know kind of when I will actually upload this video. I'm again repeating myself again, but I'm really trying to get ahead of kind of the game here and have videos kind of ready to upload, just purely so that when it's the school holidays and things like that, I've got things ready to go. So, you know, I don't know kind of when I'll be uploading this, but, you know, if I talk about anything kind of random, it may be that it doesn't kind of fit with the day of the week or something like that. So we could have that like that. Oops, and then I've just got a little bit of pearl trim that we could kind of have there. I have got a tiny bit more here. Kind of prefer things in threes for some reason. You know, threes I think are always kind of a good number. And then I've just got a tiny little bow here. I had bought a few things along, but they've kind of gradually slid under the desk. So, you know, that's kind of what's going on there. So just got to decide now which side we want to have the lace trim. And I've also got, I've got that favourite crochet lace that I love using that Laura had gifted me. It just looks lovely every time I use it. I just always love it. So I'm going to have a little bit of that, I think, across the top as well. So you can never have too much lace, can you? Well, I don't know, maybe some of you think that you can. But I just love it. And I've said before that every time I put things there, kind of put it there, and then I move it away and think, you know, does it need it? And I just always end up going back to it and thinking, yep, it does. You know, more is more. Which actually, I quite like it like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run a bit of the glue across the top here. And unfortunately, that doesn't, you know, it's not glued down properly yet to the book page beneath, but I'll just stick this down. Try not to jog the table too much because, you know, I don't want everything toppling down. So we've got that like that. We could just pop that little bow on there. And then, do we want that kind of there to the side? Let me stick the bow on first. I don't mind the bow kind of skew-if actually, with that little stem kind of poking out to one side. My automatic response was to kind of move it, but actually, oops, there goes my glue gun. Oops. Let me just pick this up. I did have a comment the other day saying, oh, your desk is messy. Yes, my desk is super messy, and my goodness, you cannot see the half of it. So you'd be horrified if you could actually see the desk in its entirety. It is pretty terrible. I'd like to have this little pearl trim somewhere, but I'm not sure kind of where I'd like it. Maybe kind of to the side. Do we want it to the side or on the piece itself? Again, I mean, it's really not kind of glued down as yet, so I'll just kind of keep pressing it a little bit. Pressing it and trying not to have my stuff all topple down. Oops. Or we could have it kind of running along on the lace. I always kind of end up putting it on the lace for some reason. Let me just try a little bit of my favourite, because always my favourite is this black edged diamante. Oh look, one of them's got a diamante missing. Yeah, it's always my favourite. I don't know why, just really love it. So let's just see whether that looks better or whether the pearl looks better. See, the pearl is really pretty, but it's quite colourless, where the black kind of just adds a little bit more drama, I think, to it somehow. But I'm going to come out of my normal comfort zone, and I'm going to go with the pearls. So I'm just going to glue this lace trim down, and because things don't appear to be sticking brilliantly, well, they are Oh, there goes the glue gun again. They are sticking. They're just not sticking as fast as I would hope, obviously. But rather than kind of obviously wait around because we're doing a video, I will just glue this with the hot glue. So there we go. And then might have a little button there. I would quite like a second button, but I can't see one in my little tin that's just right, and my vintage buttons aren't right behind me. They're kind of over the other side of the room. I don't want to kind of leave everybody waiting while I kind of, you know, go over and get them. So I'm just going to go with what I've actually got here with me because, you know, to save dilly-dallying around, really. So obviously in these kind of demonstrations, you know, you kind of a little bit are doing things in a bit of a rush, but, you know, if I kind of had a bit more time, I would probably go and get them, you know, the buttons, and kind of have more than one. So I'm going to pop that like that. So I'm just going to take this faux pearl trim, just pop a little dab of hot glue along there, like that. Okay, and then we're just going to pop the button on kind of here. Button's still got a little bit of thread, which, although I don't mind that, it's making it kind of stick out a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of try and get it a bit flatter at the back. I mean, I don't mind it sticking out height-wise. It's just that obviously I want it to stick down properly. I don't want it to only stick down where the thread is. There we go. So we just pop that there like that. So, I mean, to me, that kind of does really need another button, but, you know, we'll just go with that for the moment. So I'm just going to bring in a kind of blank journal just to kind of show you how that would look. So, oh, it's actually a bit wide for the page, unfortunately. So obviously, as you can see, this one is a bit wide, so it would have to go kind of maybe on the back cover or the inside cover. I have got room. I can trim some down, and obviously I could retrim it, or trim it down, sorry, and re-stitch it on the sewing machine, and that way it would probably you know, I'd get it small enough. So I may do that when it comes to actually using this as a piece. But I'm just you know, I'm just playing around here with these bits. Yeah, so I mean, if I came to actually kind of use this and I didn't want it on the inside of the cover, I would probably just trim it down a little bit more and then stitch around again so that it was kind of slightly narrower in. I mean, literally it needs to come down by kind of, you know, 1/2 centimetre, so it's not kind of overly much. So if I just kind of grab another postcard there just to show you kind of how that would look. So obviously if I kind of were to slim that down so that it fitted nicely onto the page, you know, or equally have it on the inside of the back cover. Again, and you could have it, you know, your choice whether you had it as a pocket or a tuck spot. But if you had it as a pocket, for instance, you know, let me just move this in a bit, would stick it kind of on the the three sides like that, and then you could just have a postcard popped in kind of, you know, at the top. So that's kind of one little idea. Now the next thing, I wanted to show you a little bit how these kind of buildings, the page with the buildings, would look. So what I've done, if I just bring the page back with the buildings to kind of show you, I've literally torn around them. I haven't cut them, I've literally torn them roughly out like that. And these are just on copy paper, and all I've done is literally coffee dyed these, just to kind of show you how they look. I think they're a really nice kind of addition to use, because I love using things like that kind of in journals, you know, buildings. I always have a thing about buildings. I really am very drawn to beautiful buildings. So I'm just rummaging through quickly to see what we can do. Sorry about that, my phone was ringing, so I do apologise. Right, now I'm not quite sure where we got to. Was just showing you obviously the buildings, and so literally we've kind of coffee dyed them. Now what I've done here is literally taken, and this is just a piece of coffee dyed paper, and you know, there's nothing special about it. It's thicker than copy paper, but it's not actual card. It's kind of very good quality paper. I couldn't tell you, I'm afraid, what kind of GSM it is. But what I thought you could do is just take one of your buildings, you know, any of them really, and pop it onto the paper. Now, I've got these two here, and I've only just kind of really kind of spotted this, but you could obviously have this as kind of one of those nice flip downs, like the Creative Cafe Girl flip downs, which would be lovely. I was intending on doing one kind of sideways on. So what I'm going to do is just tear this slightly more here, because it was a bit triangular kind of at the edge there. So just tear that down. And then I'm just going to just dress ink around there slightly, like that. And we can just kind of pop that there. And then what I'm going to do is just literally cut out something else to kind of put with that. So I'm just going through the bunch of stuff that's beside me, trying to locate that page with the buildings, because that had a couple of roses on there. Oh, and now I can't find that page. Oh, come on, too many pages. Right, I wanted this page because it's got some kind of smallish ones here. So all I'm going to do is literally take one of those, and I'm going to cut around it. So please excuse my cutting. Again, I'm still standing up and kind of just literally kind of, you know, rushing this, but and hopefully you can kind of see these really muted, gorgeous colours of these flowers. So you have got some brighter flowers here too. The flowers in this kit, they're not kind of the bright pink of the Beauty Fair kit that I recently released, because this is a much more kind of dulled down, you know, pale muted kind of colour kit. So these ones are in particular, you know, very much a kind of, they're not pastel. I think I've just described them as very muted kind of colours. So hopefully you can kind of see them here. So just a really delicate kind of effect they have, and I'm just going to ink them up slightly. And as I say, I mean, I really could have done with changing my ink pad, and I should have done that when I stopped when the phone rang. So there are those little flowers there. And, you know, this is why I love having all different bits and bobs to be able to cut out, because I just love being able to kind of play around and kind of pop things on in different places. So you could kind of have those flowers just to the side of this piece. So again, I'm just wondering whether we want to use some of that pretty soft pink net there. Now, do we want to use it for the flowers, or do we want to use it for the building? Let's have a look. Just kind of pop that there. I think for the building, right, which is strange because actually my thinking was originally the flowers, but it's only when I placed it there that I thought actually I think it needs to go behind the building. So again, we'll just take this to the side and just glue it on. Now I'm just going to tear this down slightly more. which obviously you can easily do that because you've got plenty of building there, if you see what I mean. So I'm just going to glue that down onto that fabric, or onto that, you know, that soft net. Here we go. Just press that down a little bit. And obviously I didn't really need to ink that building up because that has been coffee dyed anyway, whereas the kit itself hasn't, if you see what I mean. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to trim around the edges here. I'm just going to do that straight over my carrier bag that is beside me for the rubbish. So I'm not doing anything interesting. I'm literally just rounding the edges slightly because it was quite square. And we can just kind of pop that down like that. And then the roses kind of to the side. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? You know, but hopefully you guys think it looks beautiful. I think it looks really pretty. Now, if I just literally glue that down. There we go. I'm just dabbing it around there. You can just literally pop that down there. Like that. And then obviously we've got those pretty roses that we can just kind of pop to the side. And obviously if you've got kind of pieces that, you know, you feel are kind of overhanging too much, you can always cut things off. So I might just trim off, you know, these little leaves here, because then they're not overhanging the window of the building, if that kind of makes sense. So, you know, you can kind of play around and adjust it kind of as you wish. I'm just wondering whether to hot glue this. I wouldn't really hot glue this normally, so I'm not going to. Because it's quite a kind of small piece and I didn't want it making the piece, you know, this piece itself kind of stiff. So we'll just pop that down there. Just got literally a piece of tissue here to the side. And I'm just dabbing it with the tissue because, you know, any bits of the wet glue that are kind of seeping out there. Like that. I mean, as I say, this isn't kind of obviously gluing down as quickly as I would have hoped, but, you know, it's fine. And then you could finish it off. Now, if you can see here, I've left a piece longer underneath. Now, I had done that because I was initially thinking I would pop something on there as a kind of closure. I'm not so sure whether I'm going to do that now because I've got the net overhanging. So, I mean, actually, you could kind of finish that off by popping just a little bit of lace kind of down there, which looks quite pretty then. And then you've got, obviously, you know, your folding piece that kind of folds out like that. So I might just do that. I don't need to re-distress the lace because it's still, you know, I've still got enough of it distressed from when I distressed it a moment ago. So we're just kind of go across like that. Oops. It's nice to work with kind of the different colours, isn't it? You know, I loved the colours off the Beauty Fair. I haven't had a chance to work with that yet either, but, you know, it's really nice to kind of work with all different styles and colours. So, you know, this one is very, very delicate and very kind of pale in comparison. And, you know, that's really nice too. It's much more the colours of kind of the Bellissimo kit. You know, much kind of paler and, you know, I think that's quite pretty to kind of work with things like that. So that's kind of how that would look on the page. And then, of course, you could always pop some extra pages inside it and stitch it on the sewing machine to make it a kind of fold out pad. then you could kind of pop it down on, say, just two sides as a little tuck spot there. So again, then you could obviously have a little postcard. So I'll just take then again, I might just take this one here. So I've taken one of the ones with the kind of more grey blue kind of shades. So I'll just take that. And I'll just ink this up slightly. And obviously I'm not actually gluing these pieces down because this journal's actually, you know, I've kind of started it towards the front for something else. So I'm just using it as a kind of mock-up just to kind of show you how things will look. So, whoops, just literally distressed that postcard slightly. So that could go in there like that. You could always finish off the bottom, you know, just by like a little piece of lace in the corner. You know, that I think is kind of all it needs. Having said that, I may have to just pull in my favourite thing there and just pop a little bit of diamante on. Oh, I just can't resist because it just makes everything look so gorgeous, doesn't it? So I might have to just do that. So I'll open this up so I'm not gluing that neck down, because I can picture me doing that next as well. Oops. I'm just going to wet glue this down. Literally covered in glue. I've said this before, but when I kind of go on the school run, I'm constantly covered in glue, or sometimes I'm covered in paint. I mean, oh, people must just wonder what I spend my day doing, to be honest. Right. So really, really, really pretty, I think. You know, kind of came together super quickly. Didn't take a lot of effort or anything, but looks really, really cute. I mean, you could tie it if you wanted this kind of closed. Obviously, you could use a paper clip, you know, kind of wherever you liked, or you could use one of those little bulldog clips kind of to the side to kind of hold it closed if you had it kind of popped on the side. Or you could use my favourite, which would be string. So I'll just... Oh my gosh, can you see how clumsy I am being today? I don't know what goes on, but sometimes just worse than others. And oh my gosh, today is one of those days. And sometimes you have those days, don't you, where you kind of, you know, drop something first thing in the morning, or, you know, do something clumsy first thing, and it literally lasts then the entire day. You know, I have many of those days too, which very frustrating. I mean, I love kind of having things tied up in journals. So for me, that just looks really, really pretty and kind of finishes that off really lovely. And as I say, you know, you could even put kind of extra pages in there, so it was kind of like a little opening booklet. I would then glue, in fact, let's do that. I would obviously glue the string down so it's fixed into place. So I'll just glue that like that. Oops. Like that. Oh my gosh. Really pretty. I just love how that looks now. And literally, I mean, I would, yeah, probably just finish it off by just having a piece of lace down there, or possibly a little fabric ruffle. Unfortunately, I haven't got one kind of here to demonstrate that. But, and to me, that page then just looks, you know, really, really pretty. Obviously, if you wanted to, you see, I just don't know when to stop sometimes. You could take a couple more of your roses. I'll just, again, kind of cut them out. Here, you've got kind of a larger one. So you could, and again, I'm just really super rushing this, so I do apologise for my haphazard cutting, but I get lots of comments about the big scissors, and yeah, I've said lots of times actually, I mean, they're nothing, you know, they're not craft scissors, per se. They're from those cheap 3-pack of scissors that you buy from IKEA. They're just the large pair from that 3-pack. I mean, over here in the UK, I think they're like, they were like 69p, but actually last time I went there, I think they've put them up now to £1. But it's £1 for 3 pairs of scissors, and this is the large pair. I have to say, I don't like the other pairs in the packs. So they're kind of smaller. They're not really small, but they're smaller. And so what I tend to do is kind of, you know, use them in the kitchen, you know, so you just kind of replace the kitchen scissors, kind of, it has an abundance, and give them to my daughter to use for her crafting, because obviously her hands are small. So they're kind of ideal for her, really. Let me just ink this little rosebud up. You know, but I mean, you can never have too many scissors, can you? So, you know, can always kind of use them for something. I just personally don't really kind of get on very well with the smaller ones when I'm kind of cutting, weirdly enough. As some people use those really teeny weeny ones that almost look like nail cutting scissors, and I have no clue how they get on with those. So what you could do is kind of have some more roses up here. You know, again, I mean, you could kind of turn them round, or you could have them down here in the corner and, you know, not have the lace. You know, you've got a variety of sizes of roses. So, I mean, you can play around, and as I say, you can cut off kind of leaves and kind of separate them out. You know, you could kind of cut that off and just have the 2 bottom ones if you wanted to, and then you could kind of have those up there. Or you could have them on the facing page, so that then you've got kind of, you know, I really like the continuity of kind of having matching themes going across the 2 pages. So that's another kind of suggestion, really. I mean, as I kind of always say, you know, I'm certainly not in any way trying to tell you how these things should be done or how to use things. They're merely suggestions. But, you know, kind of, they're just things that I sometimes find work nicely kind of for me. And I'm just kind of sharing those things really with you guys. So, right. So that's probably kind of it for today. And yeah, so I will include the link below, obviously, to my shop, where you will obviously find the kit. It's called Nostalgia. And if you like it, then, you know, go and check it out and see what you think. So hope that you all have a really nice day, and thanks ever so much for watching. I will catch you later. Thank you. Bye.